Hello everybody and welcome back to LRN, where today we react to the big news or rumours that the Red Bull Porsche deal has collapsed. We obviously reported on this a few weeks ago, where it was clearly widely reported in the media that this deal was done. Porsche were going to take a 50% stake in all of Red Bull Group's operations, but the only thing being missed out was any ownership of the AlphaTauri outfit. That was off the table. Everything else would be a 50% stake. That included the powertrain department and Red Bull as a business as a whole, and the F1 structure anyway. But that has now gone completely dead. We obviously had Christian Horner over the last few weeks sort of circling around the issue, not really talking about it. We've now got direct quotes from Christian Horner pretty much confirming that actually the 50% deal that was being widely reported was way off the mark, and it's in fact the 50% of the powertrain ownership that is causing Red Bull to neglect this deal and to say no. They do not want to give up 50% of the business. They see that as way too much, and it would give Porsche way too much control. There are even rumors at this time that Christian Horner himself is worried for his position in the team if Porsche were to get a 50% stake of the Red Bull F1 team. They feel, it's been rumored at least, these are loose rumors, that actually the Porsche group have a really strong relationship with Andreas Seidel from McLaren, and that if they were to get that level of stake, it would allow them to make moves to replace Christian Horner with Andreas Seidel. Now that is of course complete rumor at this time. There's nothing to corroborate it, but really interesting take. And maybe another reason, of course, that Christian Horner might be reluctant to push this deal through the way he might have previously. It could just be another cog in the wheel. But the main news, the bulk of it, is that the deal we thought was going through with Red Bull, Porsche acquiring 50% stake in the Red Bull Racing Group, has now seemingly ended. Obviously negotiations can still take place. Formula One have come out and said they're confident that if Porsche were not to join the grid, then they do have other teams ready, waiting in the wings, quietly ready to come in and take a position on the grid when an opportunity comes up. Now we know Andretti Racing is one that wants to come onto the grid, but they're talking about other manufacturers. I mean, me personally, I'd love to see someone like Jaguar get involved. Love those old green liveries, but that's sort of jumping way ahead. What we're going to talk about now is what's happened, why is this deal falling apart, what's the issues, and what we think the outcome might be. But if you are new around here, please make sure to hit subscribe on the bottom right hand side. It really helps the channel out. Make sure to hit a like on the video and get in the comments below and let me know your thoughts on all the latest F1 news as we go through the discussion. But so the sense is that Christian Horner has essentially, and the Red Bull team, have decided against the 50% ownership. They are really reluctant as well to give up ownership of their powertrain department. They don't want Porsche. They've invested a lot of money into it, and they don't want Porsche to come in and take ownership, make changes, and turn the Red Bull Racing Group into a corporately run business when they've had so much success as an independent F1 team. So some quotes from Christian Horner to that effect are: Red Bull has always been an independent team. It has been one of our strengths, and it has been the backbone of what we have achieved and our ability to move quickly. It is part of the DNA of who we are. We are not corporately operated organization, and that is one of our strengths in how we operate as a race team, and that is an absolute prerequisite for the future. They need to decide whether they want to join the party. If not, but it would have to be within the culture of the way to go racing. Now, the key thing here is the corporately owned business. I don't know if you've ever worked in a big corporation, you'll know there's huge loops and you have to jump through to get any decisions made. There's so many people up the chain of command that you've got to go to sign things off, to have changes made. And as an independently run business, in essentially running a business like a small company, you can make these choices, decisions. You're not beholden to shareholders or anything like that. You can just make quick decisions that are going to really impact the way that the team runs. And they're worried that Porsche coming in, having a 50% ownership stake in the business, would prevent that from happening. They would have those hoops they had to jump through. If they wanted to make a decision that was going to impact their on the track performance, they'd need to go to all these different people and get all these heads to sign off any decisions that were being made before they could do anything, and that would massively cripple their ability to fight back in the championship, if Mercedes come with huge upgrades as an example, Ferrari come in, Red Bull want to be able to act quickly, make decisions that are going to really benefit them in the short term, and because in Formula One is really, you can be too late to the party really easily, right? If you get a massive points deficit in the season, we all know how hard it is to recover. You remember back when Brawn won their world championship in their only season, the second half of the year it was all Red Bull, but Brawn had already built such a huge gap, it was too late. And they need to be able to make those decisions quickly. That's what Christian Horner and Red Bull believe have brought them so much success in the past, is being able to run as a small, essentially like a small business, making quick decisions. And he's worried to lose that should Porsche come in with such a huge stake of the company. So unless Porsche are willing to drop their ask of 50%, it's quite likely that Porsche will pull out of the Red Bull deal. That doesn't mean they couldn't come in with someone else. Obviously, we've seen rumours before that actually it was Audi looking to acquire McLaren previously, but we know obviously Audi have registered as an engine supplier from 2026. Whether or not that turns into a full ownership of another team down the line, we'll see. But Porsche could go down that route with another team as well. They could drop the Red Bull request and their hunt to make a deal with Red Bull, and they could move on to do other things. Red Bull have also got Honda in the works. Apparently Honda have considered making a U-turn and would be interested coming back to work with Red Bull. But also they've made it clear that, or Christian Horner and Red Bull have made it clear that they are now an engine supplier. They've put a huge amount of investment into their powertrain department. They wouldn't be looking for Honda to come in, start supplying them engines in the way that they were previously, because they've made a huge investment to make sure that they can actually supply engines now. So what that relationship would look like if Honda came back into it, I'm not too sure. But it's certainly something to keep an eye on. So another comment from Christian Horner is basically around the DNA of the team and what he sees why Red Bull have been successful. So what he said was Red Bull has always been a maverick brand, and we're an independent team that has always been the way we work. That makes us flexible and allows us to act quickly and efficiently. This is part of the Red Bull DNA. The engine project is, of course, a whole new and different challenge. If there was someone we could partner with to work on that, it would make sense. At the same time, the Formula One team is the biggest marketing asset for Red Bull in the world. So why put that at risk in the long run? We're on a really exciting trajectory that isn't dependent on outside involvement or investment. If there's strategically the right partner, it would be something the group is interested in. And I think that's absolutely key. The fact that they don't need the investment of someone else coming in and buying a stake in the team is huge. They feel they can go on without it and still be successful. But if they can have another team in that can support them strategically, help them make the right decisions, the right connections, get different engineering teams and other people to come in, become part of the Red Bull DNA that helps them to take that next step, then that's brilliant. But they're not willing to give up what they feel makes them Red Bull Racing, and I think that's completely fair enough. I really do respect that from Christian Horner and Red Bull, that they're not willing to change their principles to go and make a potential financial gain. Obviously, they see F1 as the biggest marketing tool they have in the world for the Red Bull brand, which is awesome. And you can see absolutely why they wouldn't necessarily want to give that up, because if they had a 50% stake to Porsche, a lot of the branding that they have on the car, around the paddock, TV, is going to start leaning heavily towards Porsche and maybe Porsche's sponsors as well. So you would lose the amount of branding available to put Red Bull on. So maybe that is another consideration for Red Bull when it comes to this deal, and it will come down to, can they reach a compromise in terms of the percentage ownership that Porsche will have? Obviously, I believe for Red Bull to do anything that would potentially allow them to make decisions like replacing Christian Horner, they need at least a 49% stake in the business. So if they get under that, maybe if they come in at 40%, 35%, maybe it's a negotiation that Red Bull will be willing to have more so than they are at the 50% rate. But obviously, as I said, we've had it confirmed in the past. What we thought was confirmed, that this deal was done at 50%. All of the big journalists around the world of F1 were reporting the deal was done. Clearly, that was reported too soon. All of the rumors now that this deal is now dying, pending further negotiations. F1 clearly still feel that Porsche are still in the hunt to to make a deal with Red Bull, because they've commented to the fact that if this does not go through, there are other teams waiting to come into the sport. F1 keen to do so, but they're also really confident, F1, that there are other teams willing to jump in and can do so quickly. So that's really interesting as well. So we'll certainly see, and I'd be interested to see if this does fall through, who does jump in. As I said, I'd love it someone like Jaguar to come back to the sport, but really to have new names in the sport, especially big brand names. You know, we look back days of like Minardi and people, teams like that. I'm not huge on that. Even the Andretti deal, it's not personally one that I necessarily want to see unless they came in with the backing of a big brand. I want to see those big brands back in the sport. So we'll see how that plays out. But certainly, from my point of view, really interesting that this has started to fall apart. Really exciting to see how it plays out over the next few weeks and months, maybe, or maybe we'll just get a confirmation in the next few days that the deal is indeed done and that they couldn't come to an agreement. But for Red Bull to stand by what they believe in, say, no, we're not compromising our DNA. You either conform to the way we want to run the team, or the deal's off, we'll find someone else. Fair enough. Fair play to Red Bull. I think great decision from their point of view. And they may just be playing hardball with Porsche, letting a lot of this go public. May just be a play to get Porsche to renegotiate, come back to the table with a different deal, and maybe push them to understand that Red Bull aren't lying, that they are really going to hold their ground on this. So maybe something will still happen. And we'll find out, I'm sure, in the near future how this is all going to end. But really interesting stuff. Excited to see how it plays out. I thought Porsche coming in with Red Bull would really set them up on that 10-year deal for success, the added investment, the added resources of Porsche. But I can see the argument, though, that how those corporate loopholes that they have to jump through, if they brought in that corporate nature to the business, could actually hinder them on the track. I completely get that. And it's something that they definitely should be wary of. So good for them. Let's see how it plays out. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the story. Do you think that Red Bull are right to not give up such a high stake of their business to Porsche? Do you think they should be looking for potentially other candidates to come in and have a partnership with? Do you think Porsche are going to come back to the table, maybe make a lower offer? Or do you think this is it, it's done, and we'll move on? Maybe nothing will happen. And if so, what teams would you like to see come back to the sport? Obviously, I've mentioned Jaguar as a former manufacturer that's obviously no longer with the sport. Are there any others from the past that you'd like to see come back, and maybe or brand new names like we've seen with Audi in the world of F1? Make sure to let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, just going to thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe on the bottom right hand side to be notified of all future uploads, and going to wish you a great day. Goodbye.